Addison Corbin, and my co-host for the day and week and probably month, James Chapman. What's going on, James?
Man, I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing well. Real quick, to touch base today. I'm all over the place today, man.
Hey, man, that's good. It's been a crazy week in a good way.
Yeah, and it's only Tuesday.
It's only Tuesday.
Gosh, man. So going into this podcast for this week, we touched base on a few things last week or the week
Man,
before?
I think we're a little behind. We've been hustling hard.
Yeah.
So, hey, we got to make money too.
Agreed. So either way you want to spin it, we touched base on delegation and how we wanted to go into that. And there was a few notes that we wanted to throw around. However, I want to know your thoughts on delegation and what you think of it, and then we'll spin. So go ahead.
So, delegation's huge. It's the only way you can add scale and grow your company.
Yep.
You've got to be able to delegate if you want to get past the footprint of you being the only employee.
Right.
Or what's the term they use instead of entrepreneur? Solopreneur?
Self-starter.
Yeah.
Going off of everything.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with that. Because, that's literally the stepping stone. Because starting off, on your own, that's great. That's how you get everything going.
Absolutely.
But then at what point does your business become bigger than you are, and then your business starts running you?
I can only speak for myself.
Right. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I believe day one, there was no question. It was just how quick can I add somebody? How can I make the work outpace me?
Right.
And I need to bring somebody on to help me continue that growth.
Agreed. And that's where I'm at this week. Finally brought on the new ISA. Everything's working out really well. She started her first day on Monday, set an appointment that day, and surprised the hell out of me.
Good.
And then, which is kind of scary because now she set up 3 appointments, and now I've got to close those 3 appointments, or she doesn't get paid and I don't get paid.
Man, you got good problems.
Yeah, those are good problems. I'm just saying.
It's amazing. I think sometimes people underestimate how. There's usually 2 ways. Either somebody underestimates how much having another person can help them and grow. And then I think the other side is people who do not prepare, they overestimate, I just need a warm body in here, and they have no plan of action going. And it totally screws them. It just totally screws them. So, you got to analyze that. You're not bringing you in here.
Right.
You're not making another you. There's not going to be another you.
Right.
And that's okay, because I have my flaws. There probably doesn't need to be 2 of me.
I agree.
But
I wouldn't know what to do with 2 of you.
Everybody doesn't have your years of knowledge or know exactly in your head what your business looks like when you go home and you're thinking about it, when you wake up and you're thinking about it. So you got to have a plan of action, or just having another body in there is just going to be one more thing you have to answer to, one more person you're responsible to, and it's not helping you grow your business.
Right.
And that's a bad spot to be in.
Yeah, and that's what kind of scared me because I knew as soon as she started, it was about to be game on.
Yeah.
And not just game on for myself, but for her.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
Straight up. Not even playing any games. It kicked me in the butt, man. Because now I'm like, man, she's doing such a good job, and it's only 2 days in. She's going to be coming for my job, man.
I like it. That's what you want. You want somebody to do that.
I know. And I think that's almost why I hired her, because I knew that she had the confidence, she had the wherewithal to bring it. And
sounds like you made a good hire.
I feel like I did.
And that's crucial. It's not just not to the warm body.
Yeah.
It's having a good way of analyzing, making sure they're going to be a good person, or maybe you just got lucky as hell.
Yeah, which could be all above, However, that kind of pulls it into exactly what I wanted to ask you next, and kind of what I wanted to have a discussion on, was how do you pick the right people for the right job? So, I know how it is in real estate, but in insurance, when you're picking out that next person, what is that next person? Is it an admin? Is it a sales associate? What is it?
I think different industries, different ways. Where I was at, I needed a good admin person.
Yeah.
I could sell, okay? that wasn't the problem. I needed somebody who could handle all the back end work. And, you know, also with that, I needed someone who, that's a little bit easier to hire for.
Mm.
You know, you need a good service rep or an admin who's processing those things. You know, I always try to equate what I do. It's weird in sales because there's not like a, you know, you're not walking around with something in your hand usually.
Mm-hmm.
With me, I don't sell a tangible product,
Right.
you know, so I like to think of myself in manufacturing.
That makes sense.
Hey, if it's going in, it's hitting the conveyor belt, it's going through, we're popping out this widget, like, okay, we just sold 20 of them, but 15 came back as defective.
Yep.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's
Like,
a big problem.
Hey, somebody's not inspecting this stuff on the
Yeah.
back end, you know, that's what I needed. I wanted somebody to inspect it, make sure it was all going through, the
That makes
carriers
sense.
were happy.
Yeah.
You know, I always try to break it down like I'm in manufacturing.
Yeah. That's big. I like that because that's turning it into where it's almost tangible for your brain to process it, and it's
Absolutely. I can visually picture,
Mhm.
you know, the stuff
someone's
coming through
not
and
checking
working
what's
through
going
it.
on.
Yeah.
The paperwork part.
So Sally Sue's standing there at the conveyor belt. Is
Going
she
back
doing
in.
her job?
Right.
You know? So I'm going to jump back on you, though. You
Go
asked a
ahead.
really good question.
Yeah.
Here's the first part. Like, the first thing you need to do is analyze and see if you're at the spot where you can hire somebody.
Yeah.
A lot of people bring someone on and just think, I'm going to double my production. Well, like, have you really ran the numbers? Are you going to double your production? Do you have the budget to hire somebody? Okay, so you say you have the budget to hire somebody. Are you setting that money aside? Because you can easily spend several thousands of dollars bringing somebody on, and then they be going and out the door because you didn't have that.
Yep.
Like, that's a big deal. Like, that goes to all kinds of stuff, man. I have people come in like, oh, I'm buying a new car, or I'm buying this house, or this situation, or that situation, and it's like, have you just taken the time to take that money from your checking account to your retained earnings for your business or your savings account? Yeah, so you don't even know what a savings account is. Like, think through the process. Like, if you're saying, hey, next month I'm going to have the money for this, or next month I'm going to start paying the money for this,
And it's
or
not
are you paying it today?
Yeah.
So, look, you need to set up a little reserve. Like, work harder, work later, work longer hours. Start setting the money aside now. So when you bring that person on, you got some reserves. Because I will tell you, when you hire somebody day one, usually you're going to have more work at first. Because not only do you have to still do all your tasks and still do mostly what you're going to put them on, you got to train them.
Yeah.
Training takes time. If you're going to do it right, and you actually expect to have somebody of quality to stay with you, you got to spend time with them. So you're going to be busier than you were before you hired them.
That makes sense. Man, that makes complete sense. And it's like you have to. For me, when I was bringing her on, I knew for a fact making it a salary position was not going to be the situation. Because I know for a fact if she doesn't produce in the first 6 months, there's hell no am I wasting the money. However, she just showed me in the first 2 days that she can put up.
Yeah.
So now, what I set up, and this is for me personally, I don't know if you're able to do something like this, but for the first 6 months, I told her, look, you're commission. You are commission based. Every position that you do, anything you bring in is commission. And as it closes, and as things come through, and as things come through the cracks, as they do, you'll get paid. So as you're pushing it, I'm going to be pushing it just as hard, and it's going to make us, where you're making sure I get things done, and I'm making sure you get things done because it's a lever. So
all boats rise with the tide, man.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So it flows so well because now that I know that she can run it, I know that this first 6 months, I'm going to have just enough to take care of her for the next 6 months.
Right.
And then maybe bring on another one.
Good.
So, but yeah, and my concept behind it was, like you said, like admin, that's probably somewhere where I'm probably going to have to head. However, I'm thinking of bringing on another sales. And if I can have someone on the phones, 2 people on the phones, making those phone calls, bringing in I can close. I know I can close.
Look, I think each situation is different.
Yeah.
What amount of back-end work needs to be done?
Yeah, well, yeah, insurance is a lot different. That makes sense.
Man, don't even get me started on that,
Yeah.
especially, oh gosh. So, but as long as you're filling it out, you got an action plan built around it. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what's this person gonna do? You also gotta remember, if you're delegating some of your task that you need to take off your back to them,
Yeah.
you gotta also make sure you delegate to the most important person in the room, yourself.
Yourself.
Like, you gotta change the task you're doing, because you don't need to be like hovering over them, getting in the way. Like, if you trust the person, you've trained them right, get out of the way,
Yeah.
let them do the work.
And that's almost for yourself as well. Get out of your. I think a lot of people stand in the way of themselves.
Absolutely.
And
I do it all the time.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that it's. You have to step away sometimes, and you have to let. If you've done your job and you've done it correctly, like you said, step back.
I will tell you is one thing that I was not doing well with, and I've made major improvements on it, and hey, look, I'm learning every day too, so, there's quite a few employees under me now, but I hire one more, I've never had that many. I hire another, I've never had that many, so I gotta continue to learn, right? Is do a better job of checking up, because some people don't want to disappoint you. They want to tell you, hey, no, I got it, I'm doing a good job. Like, go back, sit down at their stuff, and go through everything. You don't need to do that every day or every move they make, but like once a week, once a month, as time goes on and you lengthen that leash,
Yep.
like you need to make sure you take and put some good eyes on how they're doing stuff. And when you see something wrong, fix it right then.
Yeah.
Like, jump on it right then. Hey, I heard you talking to somebody this way. Change it up. Like, people pay us good money. Maybe we need to make sure we're, like, you do this every day. They don't.
Right.
You understand it. They don't. Like, you need to make sure you're spinning that and making it more understandable. Asking, hey, do you understand? Going through the routine of making sure the client's happy.
Right.
So I've really tried to jump on that. So I'm creating a consistent process in my company, because there's not just 2 or 3 of us anymore. I have to make sure that everybody's in line, so we're having a consistent message on whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, it does. So, and that pulls right into exactly what I wanted to tie into anyways, is communication. Communication and micromanaging. I'm going to separate them because we have plenty of time today, so I'm going to kind of just let it flow. Communication, point blank, is the key to everything. So, like you said, if you have an issue, bring it up. If you see something that needed to be done, bring it up. So at what point are you, is there ever too much communication?
People may differ on that. My opinion is no.
Yeah.
Like, people walk around my office and joke that I can beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
But they know where I stand on
Yeah.
something. Like, there's so many things we're doing. There's so many things we're communicating. Like, I want to make sure they understand we stand on it. And as a company, this needs to be our message.
Right.
Or this is how we do it.
This is how we stand.
Right. I want to make it to the point where they can make fun of me and imitate me behind my back.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. Then they know exactly how it should be done. So when it's not done that way, there's no excuse.
Right, there's an issue.
Yeah. So I don't think you can over communicate.
And I like that. I'm all about that. And I made sure that every stream was open. I was like, if you have questions, if you're at home and you decide you want to make some phone calls, do it. However, if you come across an issue, call me. Right then, not tomorrow, not the next day when you come in, call me. And then we'll talk it out. If there's any of an issue between 7 o'clock when I come in and 8 o'clock when I leave, like, call me. I'm here.
Right.
So, but that's one of those things. I think having an open communication between whether if they're just running the paperwork or if they're making the sales calls, like, it's got to be open.
I think another part of communication which people overlook is not only what that person's supposed to be doing, but how it contributes to the overall good of the company, how it contributes to your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're both salespeople, so it's easy to get deep in the weeds with somebody in sales and how they make the difference, right? But that's just as important on service or the admin side. And it's important to remind people in those positions how they contribute to the good of the company. They're just important as salespeople.
Right.
Just as important. It's like, I like to use the analogy of rowing a boat. This is what I use in my office. We're rowing a boat. Sales is on one side, account managers on the other.
Right.
If the account managers quit rowing, we're going to do circles,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
We're not going to get anywhere.
Right.
We all got to row. We all got to do our parts, and that's what pushes us forward and helps us get where we want to go.
100%. 100%. I mean, you can have all your folks in the front line, but if no one is there backing them up, you're in trouble. I mean, at the end of the day, you're in trouble. Because I'm thinking at the point now, it's like I can set her up for everything she needs to do, and I can only speak because I only have one employee. However, I can set her up perfectly fine, but if I'm not backing her up on anything that she needs, then it's not going to work at all. And it's I see it almost as if she's not working for me, I'm working for her, 100%. Because if I'm not pushing her, she's not going to push back to me. You see what I mean? And it's like, my thoughts at least.
I've always tried to take the mentality of the teamwork. I mean, it is a team, and somebody may be leading the team, but it's still a team. And everybody depends on each other, and you got to work together on stuff. So with you saying that, let me ask you. I mean, when you hired her, or did you delegate for something that you weren't really doing and you just knew like it needed to be done, or was it something that like, hey, I'm not fitting this in like I should, or I mean, what was the situation?
Okay, so situation, point blank, I knew that I needed to. I only have so much time in the day. I'm getting real sick and tired of putting out 2 to 3 hours in the morning for just phone calls. I'm sick and tired of it because it's a crucial part of my business. Point blank, if you lead generation, whether that's online, which I can deal with that all day, or making my phone calls, however I need to do it. At some point, I was like, I need to leverage this out because this is not one of my favorite tasks, and it's never going to be. I'm person to person. I'm not on the phone. I'm person to person. So I was like, what is the quickest way for me to cancel this out and get me to person? And I was like, you know what? It's so easy for me because my discipline part of it with that is like it's so easy for me to say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do this today because I have enough business currently. And I was like, I need to stop that. So I was like, what's the next thing you need to do? You need to leverage it out, delegate it out, however you want to say it. And so I brought her on anyways.
Look, man, I'll tell you, there's some people who would not admit that. Like, hey, this is something I'm not doing because I'm it's not my strong suit or whatever. And they wouldn't be real about that.
Right.
Somebody who's smart about trying to grow a business is very real about that.
Yeah.
I'm not good at everything. I never will be. And I'm okay with that.
Right.
There's stuff that I have really great strengths at, and I'm going to stay focused on that. I'm going to shore up my weaknesses, but I'm going to focus on my strengths.
100%.
And if there's somebody who can come in that is opposite of that, and we complement each other, it sounds like a better winning team.
Yeah. And on top of that, I mean, the fact that she brought in appointments already, I wasn't doing that in the first 3 weeks. I just wasn't.
Yeah.
Because that's, on the phone, I can't see mannerisms, I can't see how your body's reacting, I can't see what I need to see to understand where you are. I mean, I can understand your voice, I can hear your tone, I understand these things, but I also don't want to be, that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
And I understand that. And I understood that from day one when I was like, I got to pick up a phone and call people now. I thought this was just person to person,
Right.
And so, therefore, I was like, now I got to do this. So you get tired of it, man. And you realize I can leverage this out and do more business than I've been doing.
Well, you're saying that 100%. The word you're leveraging it out. Like, there you go. So it started, you hired towards your weakness,
Right.
which is great. You got somebody doing something so you can focus more on the things that you truly enjoy. So tell me, like, how have you done some of your training? Like, have you just
Okay.
gone, like, hey, here's how we kind of talk. I'm gonna listen to you.
So that was the fun part, because I knew that if I didn't show her, she wasn't going to. She, in my eyes, if you're gonna tell me to do something, you better be able to do it. Right? So I was like, you know what? I can do it. I do it pretty decently. You know, it's that's just the fact I don't like to do it. So I said, you know what? We'll sit down. We'll go through exactly how you need to say things, how you need to present yourself on the phone. You know, all the good stuff. And then I was like, you know what? We have other teams in this office that kill it, and this is what they do. They have ISAs that kill. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to schedule you to sit in with them, and you're going to sit down for the day, and you're going to continue to do this for like the next 2 weeks, and you're going to sit down and talk. Figure out how they do on the phone. What do they say? Just follow their routine about how they go through the day while they're making the phone calls. She sat down, she took notes. I mean, she was gung-ho. And then I put her in another room with an opposite person to kind of say, hey, this is how they do things. What's the difference? Where do you feel more comfortable? Okay, well, you felt more comfortable here because you understood what was moving. Great. So then now I know what you need. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then I just took that. We sat down. She started on Monday. The first few hours were a little bit, she was nervous. And I said, look, you understand what you need to do. Do you have any questions? No. Do you understand why you're doing it? Yes. Perfect. I can run with this. So you and I are going to come up with kind of like an intro to when you answer the phone, you know what to say. And we're going to say it what's comfortable to you, but what I already know it works. And we ran through that, and first time, and I'm not even playing, she ran through like scripts with people before, and it wasn't working. It just wasn't her. We sat down for 15 minutes, came up with an intro basically, because it's not even a script, because she's not trying to get something out of you. It's literally, she's just trying to set an appointment. And so I just understood that, and I said, look, this is what we're going to say. And what would you say in this situation to make it yours? She said, whatever. First time she said it, boom, appointment set.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just ran it. So.
Man, no, you gave good information. I mean, that's what people need to hear, especially if they're on the fence. I mean, I know delegation is not always about the very first hire, but I know there's a lot of folks out there that are working hard, and that first hire is scary.
Oh, it was.
You know, I mean, it's because it's like once you jump off that, like you're going down a new path.
Right.
And that's cool.
And that's where I wanted to be anyways. My idea is, I love real estate. I love the factor of what it can bring to a family. However, I don't want to sell real estate all my life. I want to be ahead of a company that sells real estate. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And brings the happiness. I don't want to have to, I will personally show a home, I will sell a house, whatever you need. However, if I can delegate that out and make sure that my culture and who I am as a person is brought into that company, all day. That's what I want. That's what,
And that's the cool thing about once you start getting some people under you and you set them up for success, you set them up for opportunity, and they take advantage of that. When I hired my first salesperson, when I opened my company, I purchased another guy's book. He was retiring, so I took over his service rep. My first true hire, like I went out and found somebody, and they were the first hire was a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
But when I opened my company, man, I wanted to make more money.
Right.
All right. And I didn't have ill intentions about it. I didn't lie to people to make more money, but I wanted to make more money, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But it is awesome. I mean, it is one of the most gratifying things to see somebody work for my company and have opportunity that I put together, but them just grab it and run with it. Mm-hmm. And it's not a win every day. I see them struggle, and then I see them overcome, but that is like the best feeling. Being in charge of a company, it's not so much I want to sell insurance. I want a company where it's great for clients and it's great for the people that work there that can make their lives more successful.
And that's what
It's
drives
fantastic.
good business. And it brings it home because you know that you are doing the absolute best that you can possibly do, and you're providing value. And it's not just in your life and in your family's life, but the clients you touch, the actual people that are working for you, they're actually working as a group, as a team, and I mean, that's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I know that we
So kind of recapping on
Yeah.
that, so look, I think you need, if you're ready to delegate, or if you need to do a better job of delegating, the budget piece is first to me. If you already got the person in place, they're already working for you, but you're looking across the table or whatever across the office, and you're like, I'm just not delegating like I should, then the budget piece doesn't play.
Right.
You've already got them there, you're already paying for it, you've worked it into the budget. You need a plan of action, like use some effort, take some time, write out a plan to do items, action plans. What makes them successful in this company? What boxes can they check to say, okay, I did a good job today?
Yeah.
That's the step you got to take. I'm reaching out like, hey, what went well today? What didn't go well today? What questions do you have? Making sure they see it's a team. We're working together.
Yeah.
I want to check in.
And that's big. And I think when you bring on that person, I kind of needed to say, okay, it's not only what I would want to hear when I was getting hired on. It's you really have to figure out who that person is because you just hired them. You just brought on a responsibility of their well-being and how they make a living. So you have to register that up here and then come to that and say, okay, what the hell did I just get myself into, right? And then process it. Do your task management, which I've killed, by the way, just to toot my own horn.
With your A1 and your board and stuff. I saw that. It's nice.
I'm not even playing games anymore.
Good.
That and then my discipline on my sleeping, because I used to set 3, 4, 5 alarms and wake up, and then you putting me on, you and Morgan. I'm not gonna say Morgan too much.
He hasn't earned it.
Right, he hasn't earned it yet. However, putting me on Extreme Ownership, that book has literally changed everything. And I appreciate you for doing that. I also want to say a quick shout out to you for your social media game.
Oh,
You're
man,
stepping
thanks.
it up, and I'm noticing, and that's cool.
Yeah.
It's about time. But you're doing a good job. And if you haven't checked out his social media, what is your stuff?
JD Chapman 84 is, I keep it simple, man.
JD Chapman. I love
JD
it.
Chapman 84 is Instagram. It's got all my links there. We also got a Chapman Insurance Group page on Facebook. But,
I'll drop
I'm
some
really
links.
focusing on Instagram, man. Not to sidetrack here, but
Really quick.
I don't know. It's more intimate.
It
Like
is.
it's more engaging.
If I can give
enjoy
it to you in a really short way, social media is where my game is,
Mhm.
and that's what I love, and that's how I socialize with my company. Instagram is person to person.
Yeah.
Facebook is to multiple people. That's just the way it focuses. And you're able to kind of dial down. Facebook stories are going to be very, very much the check mark if you're looking for it, because just if you look at how Snapchat's faced, it's just they're losing, and Instagram is gaining. So
I mean, I got a Snapchat. I pretty much click on it, just kind of see what everybody's got going on.
yeah, and that's all it is. So
But back to Extreme
Focus on
Ownership,
it.
Jocko Willing's that book is.
fucking killed it.
You know what makes it great and why it makes a difference is because when you finish that book, if you believe what he says, you have no one to blame.
100%. And at the end, when he reevaluates, like in the last chapter, when he goes over absolutely everything, if you do not kick yourself in the ass at the end of that book, we aren't friends.
Yeah.
No, just clean. I do not want to be around you, because
Yeah.
if that does not literally change everything, that it just brings it together, man.
And the Audible version, Jocko Willink and Leif Babin,
Mm-hmm.
they read the book. They're amazing storytellers as well.
Man.
I would sit in parking lots, pull up, and I'd be like, man, I gotta, this has got to
Just
hit a
finish
dead
it out,
spot.
man.
I gotta finish this spot out before I even get out of my vehicle. Amazing story.
I'm telling you.
Two motivated guys. They got a great team. They got a company, Echelon Front. I mean, look them up on social media. They got a great team. JP Donnell. There's a bunch they're awesome. They're awesome guys. They're setting amazing examples. You need good examples around you if you're trying to bring your game up. You know?
And I don't say too much about books. I don't say too much about audiobooks because there's not a lot that really there's always something to pull from somewhere. There's no doubt about that. But I don't say too much because I don't want to give out just like any recommendation. But I'm telling you right now, that book, there's not a person in this world I would not recommend it to.
Yeah. Well, that book, most books you're like, oh, that was a good little piece of advice. That's a good nugget. You're always like, oh, I'll pull out some nuggets.
Book.
That book changes the way you look at yourself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's from here to here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy moly.
You know what's interesting? I mean, I don't go around asking everybody that, but I don't know anybody who's read the book, experienced the book through Audible or whatever, and not had the same reaction. So
I literally forwarded it on to probably 6 or 7 people.
It's a great book, man.
And I know what it's gonna do for me, and like just the value that it brought to me, and I'm not even scared because me giving out that other information to the people like that you consider competition, man, bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on because now I'm waking up at that first alarm because I know that I'm gonna win, dude. That's and that's big for me because I love sleep. I love sleeping in.
Yeah.
And not anymore.
I think the cool part is the thought of discipline, the discipline of the second you think it, you do. Mm-hmm. Like, that's discipline. I don't know how we went from delegation to discipline.
It doesn't matter, it flows because it's the truth, and I feel like it's value point blank.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so let's wrap it up on delegation. We talked about budget, if it's somebody new, plan of action for that person, plan of action for yourself, how, what's winning, what's losing, those kind of things.
Right.
The follow-up, how much you should follow up. Once again, I mean, that's a great question. I think it's what's needed. Mm-hmm. You're a small team, I think you should follow up more.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, I think, hell, if you're a bigger team, you should follow up more, but you're probably going to have more,
you're going
to have more delegation for that.
As my company's grown, the first agent I hired, we joke quite a bit. Through time we joke because we busted our butts to just make that company grow, and she's been with me through thick and thin, and I'm like, she's seen me tell the same story, like, hey, enjoy it now while we're smaller, because as we grow, it won't be won't be as intimate. It can't be. Yeah, it'll still be a great place, we'll still have a great culture, and we'll still build it, but it's not going to be as intimate as right now. We're not going to come in here and sit at one desk and talk about the difference we made today and the wins, like
you're just not going to be to. It's just not logical. You can't do that in 8 different companies,
right.
8 different places. Like you just can't be. I mean, you can probably do it every other Sunday with every other company, but you're not going to have the same.
But we'll have the wherewithal to do maybe more group events, those kind of things. But it'll never be the nitty gritty. Yeah.
Person to person.
Tiny office, sitting there figuring it out, not knowing half of what we're doing, just going hard and trying to make a difference as a team, and that's fun. So, is there anything else we're missing with delegation, or you think we've hit all the highlights?
I put all the notes in, and we hit every single highlight, and you actually hit them without me even bringing them onto you. So that means that we work good together, I believe. Well,
it sounds like to me, even when you first started, you did your proper homework.
Yeah.
So I encourage people.
I was scared.
Yeah, man.
Not even a joke, man. I was like, son of a gun, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, that's money you're taking from your pocket to make a difference. I mean, you're hedging a bet. That's what you're doing. Yeah. You're hedging a bet. So I'd like to end with this. If you've been on the fence about bringing on that first person, it's the delegation piece that scares you. Do your homework. What's it really going to cost you? Yeah. How are you going to compensate? Is it a fair compensation plan? Don't be cheap, Be fair, okay? But don't be just cheap, and you're not going to end up with good people that way. Yeah. And being cheap also is with your time. Mm-hmm. It's not just your money. Like, I want people to come in my company, even if they leave in a year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be, I want them to leave as better people. And if you got that mindset, you're not being cheap, because you're giving them your most valuable thing, and that's time. And then look, I will tell you, if you got somebody on, you're not delegating right, think about what task you need to be accomplishing, what task they should be accomplishing. Write it down. Write it down. Do something with it.
I agree.
Don't just talk to yourself about it or shake your head while you're listening to this podcast going, that's a good point. Do something. Take some action. Make some differences in your life and the people who depend on you that work under you.
You know what they say? Competition drives. What is it? Competition drives what?
I don't know.
I'm
gonna leave you on a blank on that one.
I'm gonna just.
You,
Anyways, to tie it all up, that was good, man.
that was a great one.
I think you and I have finally figured out our mojo.
Yeah, so look, hey, we're still growing this thing. Do us a favor. Tell somebody about it. Subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you're feeling really nice, maybe leave us a review.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Or send it out to your friends and family and your mother-in-law and your sister-in-law and your cousin and let them know that they need to be listening to this.
Send it to your boss if he's not delegating properly.
Wow.
Ooh.
James just dropped a bomb. All right.
No, I didn't drop a bomb.
He just dropped a bomb. All right. I will see you guys next week. Outro.